Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel where you can find a lot of my old art videos, some of the project I did called Mythology Cafe, and a lot of painting instruction. I am wearing a napping baby, so if you see me bouncing a little bit, that's why. That's when I get to do these things. So I'm going to be doing a lot of instructional videos. This is one of them. I paint in a technique called the Mische Technique. The Mische Technique is essentially just a combination of oil and egg tempera. It has also been used in a combination of acrylic and oil. It's basically any two or more types of painting, paint types and mediums that are combined in a glazing effect to get your final image. So the style I use is a oil and egg tempera Mische technique, and basically the underpainting is built up of 3 layers. A red layer with white egg tempera, a yellow layer with white egg tempera, and a blue layer with white egg tempera, which is what you see next to me right here, which is my work in progress. So you can think of this as a layer cake version of the Mische technique. The layer cake, of course, the red is the first layer of cake. The white is always going to be the frosting. So the white then goes on top of the red to make an initial image of highlight and shadow. Then you do the yellow glaze. The yellow glaze then harmonizes those highlights and shadows while creating depth and just adding more chroma to the white that's already there, right? So then that's finished. Then you add white again. So you got your yellow layer of cake. Then you add some more icing as the white. So you don't want to just redo all of the white that's there. You're going to refine. You're going to really make sure that your image is correct. If you need to make any adjustments, this is the step to do it in. And then you're doing the white almost sculpturally each time you do it. So that really becomes effective in the next time. So the white layer on top of the yellow gets finished. You're going to add that icing, and then you're going to do an entire blue glaze, a very pale blue. As these videos progress, I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty detail of all of this. But I love using Gamblin turquoise. This right here, my very nicely well-used paint. It's one of my favorite colors for this. You can mix this with some white and either phthalo blue, which is beautiful, or ultramarine blue for a slightly more purple version. But you want to put a nice, very pale blue glaze over that yellow / white layer. So then your next layer of cake is this blue glaze. Then you are going to, again, very sculpturally apply that white on top of there. So you're doing one more layer of icing. The icing here, the white layer, is going to be very intentional. You are definitely not going over everything you just did in the previous layer. You are really just picking out the whitest of whites, the highlights, the very, very tippy top highlights, if you will, of whatever image you're painting. So now you can see all of the buildup of all of the layers underneath, because of course these are glazes, right? So you're seeing all of that detail that you applied underneath. So as you're doing this white layer, you have now created a bunch of optical grays. These optical grays are going to work for you when you apply your color glazes, because of course this is all just underpainting, right? So you want to make your underpainting do all of the work, so that when you apply the color, all you're doing is putting a very slight color glaze over top of your beautiful underpainting, and then you're done, right? So you do all of the bulk of the work for underneath. You're building this structure. You're building this, you know, think of like a pyramid, right? Like a pyramid doesn't stand on its tippy point. It stands on that giant base. So as you're building up, you can get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until, you know, same with this painting, right? You are building that base layer every single time. And every single time you do it, just as I said, you are sculpturally applying this paint. So you are building to kind of a pinnacle point, so that at the end, once you've even applied your color glazes, all you have to do is a single, you know, touch of white paint here, a single touch of white paint there for those final highlights that will just make that piece. So then, you know, same kind of thing, you put that very tip on that pyramid and you're done. So it takes all of these layers working together to build up the structure of the underpainting, to build up each of those layers as it goes, so that as your color glaze gets applied, which is going to be next after I finish this white layer here, your painting just clicks into place. So stay tuned. I'm going to be doing more of these instructional videos in this space. Should be coming out once or twice a week as I can get them in. And thank you for joining. Please subscribe and put the alerts on to make sure you get the notifications when they come through. Thanks so much.